Hello, everybody. I'm Louis Friscalenti of SMC Radio. Thank you for listening to Frisco's SMC Clips. This is my YouTube channel where I post interviews for my radio show over on Station with SMC Nights Radio. It's typically called Frisco's Weekly Sports Special. And today, in the wake of the epic YMCA situation in Sault Ste. Marie, I was able to go to the city council where the councilors fought it out over the sake of the Y. And post-council, where the Y did indeed end up getting saved, I was able to get an exclusive interview with the Mayor Matthew Shoemaker. Here you all are. Hello, everybody. I'm Louis Friscalenti of SMC Radio, joined here live by Mayor Shoemaker. That's a pretty big deal. You're my first ever political leader to join me on my radio show here at SMC Radio. So why don't we start at the very beginning? Did you use the Y when you were my age, and what are some of the memories that stick out to you?
I did use the Y as a young kid. I'm not sure how old exactly you are. You look like you're in high school, obviously, yes, from St. Mary's gear that's on you. But I learned to swim at the Y. I was in their swimming lessons for much of my youth, and that's where my family went. My sister did gymnastics there. My brother swimming lessons and basketball as well. So we're all YMCA kids growing up.
And then when you first found out that the YMCA was in major financial trouble, what went through your mind? What was your first reaction?
Well, my thinking probably has evolved a little bit on this over the course of the 4 or 5 weeks that this has been, a public issue. I've known about it for probably a couple months now, since the late part of last year, early part of this year. At first, it was looking for community partners to see if there was any hope of the city not getting involved. But as the situation became more dire over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I would say that it was obvious that the city needed to be a player in making sure the Y was here to stay. And that's when really the direct efforts over the last 4 or 5 weeks of city staff and the CAO and myself put all hands on deck to see what we could come up with, and it took some doing, and all came together fairly quickly, but that's how we got to where we were.
And it sounds like, as you were saying, there's now a plan in place to save the Y, a plan that includes City Council forking over up to $505,000. As tonight's debate made clear, councillors are really torn about this idea. What is your view? Can you explain why you support this use of taxpayer funds?
Yeah, the $505,000, I think, it's hard to compare it to, a hypothetical use for that money. But I think that the $505,000 that was committed tonight gets us a sustainable YMCA for a 10-year period. And that's fairly cheap compared to our other city operations. This John Rhodes pool to operate for 1 year costs $1.1 million. So $500,000 for not just a pool, not just a basketball court, not just the gymnastics club, not just the other services, a fitness facility that the YMCA operates. $505,000 over 10 years is a lot cheaper than our facilities cost to operate.
Never thought about it that way. And are you confident with this plan in place that the Y will now have a firm footing for years to come? Is there a long-term plan?
A long-term plan needs to be developed. The Y building is 59 years old, and so it's not the long-term plan. That building is not the long-term plan, but what this investment does is allows us to determine the long-term plan over the course of the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, and I think that will involve either the city expanding its own facilities to make sure that it can absorb the Y's services into our facilities, or the development of a new YMCA, either in partnership or on their own, in partnership with the city, or just on the Y on their own.
Now roping things back to SMC, and among so many young people that I know, the news was absolutely devastating when they found out it was going to close. For so many kids my age, many of whom I know, it's a critical place to go. I imagine you received a lot of phone calls and emails. What were people saying to you about the news? What was their message?
So there's been an evolution on the public outreach on this file. At the beginning, when the Y first announced it was closing, it was the city must step in and do something. And that I received easily 200-300 emails on over the course of those several weeks. since the city has stepped in to do something, there has been a vocal group that has said taxpayer money should not go into this, and I respect that view. But I do think that ultimately, on balance, the investment we're making is fairly minimal compared to what we're getting over the next 10 years, as I explained in my previous answer. So I don't begrudge the folks that have reached out and said this isn't a good use of taxpayer dollars. I understand that there is that view out there. I just think that there's a more benefit to doing it than there is to not doing it.
And right now, a lot of students my age want to help with the situation at the Y. What can we do besides sign up for memberships?
Sign up for memberships and have your parents sign up for memberships and have your siblings sign up for memberships. So that is the plan for the community, is to get more memberships sold.
Okay, got it. Now, Mr. Mayor, what high school did you end up going to when you were?
St. Mary's.
You went to SMC. So anything that stands out to you at that school?
Well, I went to St. Mary's when they were on Tancred and Wellington Street, but it was a great place, and it was lots of fun participating in Pennies from Heaven. I was on student council for one of the 4 years I was there, and always liked being involved at St. Mary's. So it was it really sparked my interest in being more involved in the community, I would say.
So one last thing here. Is there anything that I didn't ask you about the YMCA that you want to get across?
I think that covers it all.
Got it. Thanks so much, Mr. Mayor.